Ooh, I'm making out like a bandit from this place. Alrighty everyone, I'm actually riding shotgun today for today's resale ride. I'm joined by my very own lovely mother. I'm in my hometown of Omaha and we're cruising around today going to pawn shops to find underpriced video games to sell on Amazon FBA. I'm not sure if this is going to be a whole video today or I'm going to combine it with tomorrow. I'm only, I think, hitting maybe 4 shops today, but yeah, let's get into it. All right, so just got out of the first pawn shop and picked up this PlayStation 3. It's a 320 gigabyte, and if you can see, it's in pretty rough shape physically, but really all it needs is just a Clorox wipe, and has an original controller and everything. Paid $40 for that, and I should be able to get about $110 or maybe $115 after fees for it on Amazon, so that was a great pickup. And then as I was checking out, I thought that would be all I was gonna get, but I saw some 3DS games lying on the counter that hadn't been priced yet. And normally when I ask about stuff like that, they'll kind of look it up as they go, but I asked what he wanted for these 5 and he said 15 bucks. So I said awesome, because on the top here we have Pokemon Art Academy. That should go for around 18, so that's, you know, more than my cost already. And then we have Project Mirai DX. I actually don't know what that is. That was just kind of a hunch, because oftentimes Japanese games will be worth some money. Miitopia, which is a great one. I sold this very recently for 30 bucks after fees. And then a couple of Zelda games. So that last minute pickup, spotting the unpriced games on the counter definitely came in clutch. And I guess the lesson there would just be opportunistic at the pawn shops. So anyway, yeah, solid pickup, and we're gonna go to the next one. All right, so I just looked at this guy up, Project Mirai DX. I don't know if you can see that. Turns out it's going for $47 after fees, so definitely be on the lookout for Japanese, really any like Japanese RPG game. All right, so just got out of stop number 2. It's in the same chain as the one that we just went to, and I bought the exact same thing. Got a PS3 250 gig. This time I paid 60 bucks, but I also asked them again about some unpriced games, and this time he told me $5 instead of 15. So I got 2 copies of Wii Sports and 2 copies of Wii Sports Resort. There's actually a Resort in here as well. Which is great, because if I were to sell them individually, they'd all be worth 15 bucks, which is really great. But what I'm actually going to do, as you guys know, is pair them with Wiis, because that makes them worth more. I would have bought some Wiis here as well, but they just moved to a standardized pricing system that is not very, like, it's way too expensive. So all their Wiis were $50. The only ones that were priced reasonably were PS3s, and that's why I picked up one here and one at the other spot. I'll be interested to see if I can find anything at the other ones that are this chain that I go to today and tomorrow. But yeah, given the circumstances, you guys saw they had great stock, but it was pretty much all overpriced. So I'm trying to pick out the, you know, item here and there that is not priced and hopefully swing a good deal. So let's see if we can keep doing that. All right, so the third place that we went didn't have anything. Well, they had stuff, but it was all overpriced. Went to the 4th place, which is in that Saul's chain that I was talking about, and as usual, all their systems were very overpriced. Didn't touch those, but I noticed that all of their games did not have prices. So I went over there, asked someone to unlock the case, and asked her if I, bought a decent number of them, if she'd give me a deal. She said yes. So I got all these games here, and they said normally the way that they price them is they look them up and go a few dollars below GameStop. But like I said, they said that they would do something standard, and I was hoping it would be low, so I picked out the stuff that I thought I could work with at like a $5 to $10 price point, depending on how new it was, because I thought that was kind of reasonable, and they ended up doing even better than that. So all of the Xbox One and, let's see if I can show you here, and PlayStation 4 games were like, I don't even know, I think I have 8 of them here, and it was 50 bucks. And then all of these older ones, I paid 10 bucks for the whole stack. So I was $64 all in, and ended up doing the calculation, and everything is worth about $220. So really solid pickups today. I'll show you guys a few things. Sly 2 Band of Thieves for the PS2, Battle for Bikini Bottom, you guys all know about that on the PS2. BioShock Collection on the 360, Street 3 on the PlayStation, Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, Rock Band on the Xbox, even game only, those can do pretty well. Got a couple copies of Red Dead Redemption, that's a great one. The Witcher, so there are a few more here, but overall, for only doing 4 stops today and coming away with over 400 bucks in profit, that's a super incredible ratio. This won't be the end of the video. I'm going to blend this with tomorrow's pickups as well, so stay tuned. All right, well, it's the next day, and I'm about to hit the rest of Omaha pawn shops if I can. I've only got about 4 hours here, but we're gonna see how much damage we can do in that time. I'm making out like a bandit from this place. All right, so the moral of this stop was, if you know, you know. That's not really a moral, but it was a theme. So I got this nice little bag of stuff here. I asked the guy, and this is a negotiation tactic I use often. I said, hey, if I'm able to buy a good number of games, will you work me a solid deal? Because none of them were priced. He said, yeah. So I got this stack of games. Everything here was $50. He just kind of came up with a number, and I said, cool. So Just Dance 2018, that's like, I don't know, 8 bucks. Heavy Rain combo game is, well, I don't know, 12. This guy's like 10. 2019 Need for Speed Payback Deluxe Edition. This is a solid one. This should go for about 25. Forza 7 Motorsport. I forgot. Maybe like 18. Not sure. Sims 4 on the computer is about 10. Just Dance, 2 sealed copies of Just Dance on the Xbox 360, Disney version 2. These are each $10. Star Wars Knights 2, I bought a copy of this before. This is nice and complete, and it was, I forget how much it goes for. 10 plus, I'm pretty sure. And X-Men Origins Wolverine on the 360 is 9. Then I also got, I actually wasn't going to throw this in, but it was kind of on the stack, and he said 50 for everything, so I was like, okay, Pokemon Ultra Sun. This is only worth like 7. This is like the cheapest Pokemon game ever. Sorry. Sun, not Ultra Sun. Fast and Furious is only like 5, but it was on the stack. Then Yoshi's Woolly World on the 3DS is, I think, like 20 to 25, so that's another solid score. Then finally, I got this PlayStation Move controller. You guys already know, $30 all day long, really solid, and almost nobody knows what it is. Really solid item to look out for. Highly sought after because of PlayStation VR. Then there were a few loose, they had a bunch of loose DS games, very often underpriced. Lego Friends, you guys have seen me pick up before, $20 to $30 every time. And it's in there somewhere. It's under the, oh, here it is. Cooking Mama. This is actually can be a decent series. PS3 Chop and Shop, and I think between, there's one of these Cooking Mama games that is worth $20. I don't know if this one is it. I'll have to look it up later. And then perhaps the find of the day so far, I don't know if it's actually going to be, but Action Replay for the DSi. You've maybe seen me pick this up before in my other videos. I found one other one on a resale ride. These things go for like $60 after fees. And check this out. I mean, what can you even say? $1.99. If you know, you know. That's what I'm saying, guys. But one thing I'm kind of concerned about on it, you can see the label's kind of misplaced and it's a little faded. I don't know if these things are often fabricated, if there are like fakes in circulation or not. It looks a little bit sketchy to me. It's enough that I'm probably going to list it on eBay rather than Amazon, just so that I can throw the picture on there. I can say, you know, here's what it looks like. I don't know. But I will do some research on that. But I mean, at $1.99, guys, you can't go wrong. So really happy with that stop overall. I did not calculate the profit, but I would say probably north of $100. So yeah, let's see if we can keep this momentum going. Did fairly well at stop number 2. Definitely some smaller deals. I picked up these 3 games for $1 a piece. WWE All-Star should go for maybe 8. This one's another like 6, and this guy's also like 6. So some smaller flips there. 2K17 Gold Edition. Again, guys, this is a good one. About $20, and I actually only paid $1 for that, so that was really nice. Got this Xbox 360 Connect sensor. I've talked about these before. I've sold a couple of those in the past couple weeks, which is nice. Paid 10 and it's worth about 23 after fees. And then I picked up this pink DS Lite in very great shape for $25. Normally I like to pay around 20, but it's in really good condition. It's got the GBA slot protector in there still, and the stylus. You almost never see that. Clearly adult owned. And the reason I paid up for it a little bit was it also came with this case of 4 games. Worst case, you know, in bulk I can get $1 or $2 a piece for these. I'm wondering if Star Trek Tactical Assault is maybe worth something on its own. I'm not actually sure. But the big kicker was it also randomly had Final Fantasy Tactics on the GBA in there, which is worth about 10. So for 25, I was happy with that. And yeah, time to go to the next one. All right, so another solid stop. As you guys saw in there, the games were super overpriced, but they also had a really good selection. So I knew that if I could work out with them a really good deal, I'd be able potentially to come away with some solid games, and that's exactly what I did. They had a lot of PS3 games that were priced way higher than normal shops. So I went up and I asked the guy, I have people ask how I negotiate often, so this is a good little bit here. I said, hey, I saw you guys have some solid games over there. I was just wondering if I was able to buy multiple, would you work with me some on the price? Just trying to kind of gauge, you know, how he would respond. And he seemed pretty eager. He was like, yeah, we give good deals here. You know, pick out what you want and I'll work with you. And he ended up giving me some really solid deals. I got this stack of games here, even though a lot of it was overpriced. So for example, on this guy, it wasn't priced. I brought it up, he was like $6 and it's worth like 14. So that was good. Ultimate Tenkaichi, he did half off on, so that's worth around 15. NBA 19, he ended up doing $5. I thought this was worth more. Turns out it's worth 7. So good job on that one, Caleb. I'm always on about disc-only games. I asked him if they had any. He said yes. I picked out 3 of them and he said $9. So got another copy of Extreme Legends Dynasty Warriors 8, which I showed you guys earlier. That's worth around 14. In disc only, you know, call it like 10 bucks, but still a good deal. And I've got discs on the floor now. This was actually interesting. I don't know if I've bought any NASCAR games before, at least not on the PS3. But NASCAR 14, that was $3. It'll go for like $9. And NASCAR 15, this is a Bolo game apparently, is worth like 28 bucks, and I paid $3. So really excited about that score. The Witcher he gave me for like 6, and that's worth like 14. GTA is worth like 12. That I didn't try to negotiate on because that was a good price. Fallout New Vegas is not worth as much as I thought. It'll go for like 11. He gave it to me for like 8, so wouldn't have if I realized. I should have scanned a little bit more closely on this one. Relied a little too much on memory. Green Day Rock Band, this one actually is worth about $10, which I did not realize. So kind of cool. Not the fastest seller. And then finally Gran Turismo 6, which I got for 5 and should go for around 10. So guys, negotiation's a really big deal at pawn shops. Not every place is going to do it very well. So oftentimes I'll lead with a question like, hey, if I was able to get, you know, a few of these, would you guys work with me some on the price? And almost always they'll say, yeah, we can do something. And by how they respond to that, sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we can, you know, we'll do something for you. Maybe knock the tax off or something like that. Then I'll be like, okay, I need to be pretty selective. But if they're like, oh yeah, dude, we'll definitely work with you, then I know, okay, I can maybe count on, if I get enough, getting half off or sometimes even more. So that's kind of how I approach that. Happy that we're continuing the momentum here. I tallied it up. I paid $62 all in for this stuff, and it will end up going for around 160. So definitely a solid stop, and yeah, excited to keep going. All right, so first strikeout of the day in that place. I don't know if you guys could see the prices on those games. They were pretty much as high as I've ever seen, and that was across all platforms. I did ask if they had any sales going on or like bundle deals, and she said, yeah, we could work with you some, but given that most of the games were priced at like pretty significantly over retail, I knew I'd have to ask for more than half off to make it worth it, and I just did not sense that that would be likely, even if I were to buy like 10 or 20. So yeah, just got out of there, and hopefully we'll find some more reasonable prices at the next place. Alrighty, so didn't get anything in that place either. I almost closed the deal on a couple of blue DS lights. They had them marked at like 45 and 50, but they didn't have chargers. So I was like, well, if I bought both, could you do 25 a piece? And they were kind of going back and forth about it. Ended up offering me 25 for one and 30 for the other, which honestly is a really nice offer given what they had them priced at. But I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, they don't have chargers, so that's an extra like $3. There's going to be tax on them, which is another like $3, and I'm going to be able to get $45 for them after fees. So honestly, after paying that extra $6 a piece, like, those margins are pretty bad. So I ended up passing on the deal. I'm glad that I did. And asking yourself those kinds of questions of like what the little costs are that are going to add up and really eat into your margins when you're buying an item is a really good practice to get in, especially with consoles. If you are ever buying like a console with an off-brand controller that you'll want to like put a real controller with, or you know, maybe it's missing accessories like a stylus or a charger like that. Counting those costs when you're making your offers is really crucial and can really save your margins in the long run. Alrighty, another successful stop there. This Saul's hooked me up last time. So I knew I'd probably be able to find something. Of course, last time I bought like 20 or 30 games. It was pretty crazy, and they ended up giving them to me for $5 a piece. This time their selection just wasn't as good. Again, tax season. But still ended up getting this stack of games here, and a good number of disc onlys in here for $37, which is great. Some of the highlights include Shadow of the Colossus, which, to be honest, I'm probably going to have to keep. I have this on the PS2, and it's an incredible game. If you haven't played it, pick it up. Rock Band 4, The Crew, this was super cheap, like a couple bucks. Terraria on the Xbox 360, I don't think that's super valuable. And then Borderlands 2 was on the back of it. It was just there. Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution on the 360, that was like a few bucks. Dragon Ball Racing Blast 2, that guy's worth like 18, and I paid 5 or less, I think. Street Fighter 4, I think 5 or less on that one too. This is actually the collector's edition, and there was no barcode on it. Seemed like it might actually be a slow seller. I don't know how common this game is, but it's nice and complete, so we'll see. Dune 2000, this was like a few bucks, and it's worth like 7 or so. Abzu was 5, and it's worth 10. This one was cool. Danganronpa Killing Harmony V3. Sorry if I butchered that name. But this was $5, and it's actually worth like 25. So that was maybe the best pickup. And then The Witcher I also paid 5 for, and that's worth like 15. So yeah, really solid. I don't know if I have time to go to one more before picking my dad up, but yeah, even if I can't, it's been a great day. All right, I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to go speed mode though. All right, well, I was not able to come away with anything from that last stop. I got like a bundle of 10 games together. They had some pretty good stock. It was gonna be about $100, and he offered to give it to me for 90. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit too far off. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for this, today and yesterday video. I tried to sprinkle a little bit more like tips and hints in there. So hopefully if that was helpful for you guys, then definitely leave a like. That helps me get a little more exposure. Subs are awesome too. Always appreciate that. If you did not find it helpful, well, then you can give me a firm wedgie next time you see me. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the flip.